We're here with Comeback, and I have twisted his arm, you can see the redness on it, and beat him with a stick to the point where he's going to tell us his favorite story.
Well, my favorite story, it's not an old story. It's not an ancient story. And you could say it is a Cherokee story. There is a man that was somebody who was very dear to me, taught me so much, and I miss him every day. And he was with his family one day, and it was like a Sunday, and they were all hanging out, and he told his daughter, he said, I have to go and get this medicine for this lady. She's really sick. And she goes, well, Dad, what's wrong with her? Well, she's got this bad cough, and she's been coughing stuff up. She went to the hospital, and it didn't do anything for her. She wants Indian medicine, and I'm gonna go get it for her. And the daughter looked at her dad and said, well, Dad, I had the same thing last week. How come you didn't get it for me? He looked at her straight in the eye and said, you didn't ask. The reason I love this story is because if you go anywhere, you can go anywhere in the world if you ask. You can attain anything if you'll ask. But you've got to be willing to step out of yourself to say, I don't know. Or put yourself out there willing for whatever happens with that. And I love to tell this to young people, and don't live in fear. Don't live in the fear of feeling like I'm ignorant or stupid or somebody won't. Knowledge is a powerful thing. And me spending time with this elder, just I miss him. And he taught me so much. And when I hear that story and when I tell that story, he's still with me. He's still, the way that he taught, he never beat you over the head, or really tried to force it on you. It was just a logic.
Now you're the elder.
I'm not quite there yet.
My uncle, my last uncle of the last generation, just died a few months ago, and made all of our generation elders. And we've not all walked a straight and narrow path. And we're going, what the heck are they thinking? They can't know us. Yeah. And sure enough, whether you like it or not, it ends up in your lap carrying that future. And that's the one thing I admire about you and this lady out to the school. You're carrying the future and not just letting it pass. Because if we don't do something, and now, when it's time.
I'm gonna tell you one other story, and it's not it has to do with the culture, and I equate it to there's an old, I don't know how old that is either, but there's something I learned in probably one of my self-help books, but it speaks volumes to me. It's like, love is like sand in your hand. And you can equate that as your culture. You can take sand and you can pick it up and you can hold it. You can take this sand and you can give it to people. You can take it and share it with people. You can, spread it around. You can do things with sand. You can make designs with the sand. You can do amazing things with the sand. Love in your hands. But the moment you try to control it, the moment that you try to seize it and own it and to make it mine, and you try to grasp it, it slips through your fingers. We as Native people, we have to be careful about not giving our stuff away, But one thing that we can't be afraid to do is be who we are. And, Native people traditionally, they didn't hate the white man. They didn't hate any man. They would have, one of our teachings as Cherokee people, and what has been taught to me, when a stranger comes into your home, anybody comes into your home, you offer them food and you offer them water. You offer them hospitality. You offer them, whether you like them or you don't. That's a good way to be. And when we share stories and when we're sharing of each other, and that's an amazing thing. And so sometimes I do get kind of weird about sharing my stories and putting it on YouTube and that thing, because what I don't want to do is make it cheap. I don't want to cheapen my interaction with somebody just because they can sit on YouTube and flick through to the next thing or whatever. Sometimes sitting down with people and experiencing that in a more intimate format or an intimate forum, we don't get that with our cell phones. We don't get that with our iPads or computers, and it's like, and that's a sad thing. And we as Indian people can't forget who we are. We got to pick up that sand and we got to start sharing it with one another.
Yeah.
So,
one of my favorite times, because you were mentioning that the girl didn't ask, that to do things now. We're walking through the reservation with my mentor, Son Aguade, and he was just a town drunk. But he loved me and he took care of me and protected me and educated me. And like the person you're missing, I miss him every day. We're walking, it's quite poor reservation up on the Quebec border. And we're walking through and he goes, I go, Son Aguade, look at this neighborhood. Now, it was mostly double-wide trailers and tin houses and stuff. This neighborhood is perfect houses, landscaped lawns, fences, beautiful gates. And I says, Son Aguade, who could possibly live in this beautiful neighborhood? And he said, oh, Guggy, the people who live in this neighborhood were the people who were too busy to die. It was a cemetery.
Oh.
It just smoked me. It blew me away for days. Well, I can't thank you enough, man. And it's a beautiful museum you have here. It's incredible.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Say go.